You know when you're scrolling through live streams online? What do you usually see? A spontaneous, bubbly creator just turning on their camera and effortlessly chatting with the world, right? Well, that feeling of casual authenticity is actually a highly engineered product. In today's explainer, we're pulling back the curtain on the creator economy by looking directly at a primary source, the Female Streamer Success Program. This is an internal 30-day training manual from an agency called Blue Family and Praaaaaaaa Agency for their Poppo live streamers. It reveals a deeply structured, almost corporate playbook behind all those casual smiles. So get ready, because the illusion of spontaneous streaming is about to be completely shattered.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our map for today. 1. The formula for success. 2. 5 levels of growth. 3. The 90-minute hustle. 4. Engineering audience engagement. And finally, 5. Boundaries and business realities.
Section 1. The formula for success. Deconstructing the 6-part framework.
Right from page 1, this playbook treats streaming as a calculated clinical science. They hammer 6 specific steps into these hosts. Step 1 is simply show up, and the manual literally states that reliability comes before quality. You entertain, you connect, but notice step 4, convert. The goal isn't just to have a friendly chat. It's about funneling a passive viewer into a paying supporter. Honestly, it reads exactly like a corporate sales funnel.
And that brings us to the core philosophy of the Blue Family Agency. They are actively training their hosts to avoid toxic monetization tactics. The manual explicitly bans begging, high-pressure sales, or making fake promises. Instead, the focus is all on building long-term, sustainable business habits. Essentially, they want professional entertainers, not digital panhandlers.
Moving to Section 2. 5 levels of growth. Climbing the streaming corporate ladder. Now, you might think of a streamer as a freelancer just kind of winging it, but they actually use a strict scorecard framework. A level 1 starter isn't expected to be a superstar. Their main goal is literally just not panicking on camera and setting up basic lighting. But by level 3, the growing host is actively managing audience retention and running themed events. Reach level 5, and you aren't just a streamer anymore, you're management. You're coaching beginners and building team culture.
So how do you actually move up this ladder? The magic number here is 5. That is the exact number of planned, structured live sessions a brand new host must complete just to pass level 1. It totally proves that advancement in this agency isn't based on one lucky night where a viewer randomly sends a massive tip. No, it is entirely based on measurable, repeatable consistency. If you don't put in the reps, you simply don't get the promotion.
Section 3. The 90-minute hustle. The exact timeline of a broadcast.
If you thought sitting in front of a ring light was easy, just imagine executing this grueling, highly engineered time-blocked day in and day out. The first 5 minutes demand a strong opening hook. By minute 20, you're forced into a planned main activity. Minute 45 brings a second activity, then there's a final challenge to spike energy right before closing. There is absolutely no dead air allowed. Just thinking about running this schedule makes me exhausted.
And the craziest part? The work starts long before the camera even turns on. Streamers are required to spend 20 to 30 minutes going through a tactical pre-live checklist. They can't just log on and wing the conversation. They have to prepare 3 specific conversation topics, an audience game, a backup game just in case the first one flops, and a clear promise to the audience about what the show will actually deliver. It's literally like preparing for a daily theatrical performance.
Section 4. Engineering audience engagement. Scripts, games, and psychological tools.
Because these streamers are following that incredibly strict timeline we just talked about, they need reliable tools to keep people hooked. Check out the phrasing of this 60-second opening script. Choose option A or option B. This is not just a friendly hello, it's a calculated psychological prompt. Forcing a simple A or B choice dramatically lowers the barrier to commenting. And the second you comment, the algorithm triggers, and you are hooked.
The agency makes a point to contrast this healthy, systematic engagement with toxic habits. They explicitly tell hosts to remember a viewer's interests and create repeat shows. But critically, they say don't ever rely on just one high-paying supporter. And absolutely, do not rank human worth by the gifts they send. This is a vital part of the training. It ensures the creator builds a broad, stable community, rather than becoming dependent on a single, potentially controlling whale viewer.
But we've all been there. What happens when the room goes dead? Well, the playbook has a ready-to-use script for that too. I see you watching quietly. You can answer with one emoji. How was your day? This is just brilliant. It targets the lurkers, the people who watch but don't chat.
By asking for a single emoji, the streamer provides the lowest possible friction way for a silent viewer to participate. It instantly resuscitates a quiet room and keeps that algorithm happy. Another massive tool for engagement in the 30-day plan is the PK, or Player Knockout. The manual schedules these regularly. A PK is essentially a timed, friendly battle between two streamers where their audiences compete by sending gifs or likes. But the playbook makes a really interesting point. The goal of a PK isn't necessarily to win or crush your opponent. The real goal is discovery. It's a calculated method to cross-pollinate audiences, exchange followers, and manufacture high-stakes excitement.
Section 5. Boundaries and business realities. Protecting the streamer in the gig economy.
So far, we've looked a lot at the marketing and engagement side of things, but the manual also grounds us in the very harsh realities of this gig. They list out non-negotiable red flags where a host must stop streaming and get help immediately. We're talking blackmail, stalking, and viewers demanding private access. It really strips away the glamour and exposes the genuine safety risks of interacting with strangers on the internet for hours on end.
To combat these very real risks, streamers are armed with powerful pre-written boundary scripts. For example, gifts are appreciated, but they do not purchase control or personal access. This is a crucial line of defense. In an ecosystem where viewers spend real money to tip creators, some viewers inevitably feel entitled to the creator's private life. The agency mandates this script so the streamer can assert firm, professional boundaries without losing their composure live on camera.
And finally, despite the strict corporate-style training, the schedules, the scorecards, and the management hierarchy, the business reality is pretty stark. The manual explicitly reminds the hosts that they are independent contractors, not employees. They have no guaranteed wages, no health benefits, and absolutely no safety net. They are instructed to track their own taxes and expenses. Ultimately, they bear all the entrepreneurial risk of this highly engineered hustle.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Blue Family Manual. We've seen the formulas, the scripts, and those intense 90-minute routines. And it leaves us with a fascinating question to ponder. If the spontaneous, authentic moments you love online are actually engineered from a meticulous 30-day playbook, does that make the creator less genuine? Or does it simply mean they are a much harder worker than we ever realized? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep that in mind the next time you tap into a live stream.